Hey traders, Optimus Futures here, bringing you another video tutorial. In this video, we'll be focusing on TradingView. Specifically, we'll be showing you how to utilize drawing tools on TradingView. Now, we made another video about a similar topic a few years back, but TradingView has had so many updates over the years and the platform has changed quite a bit, both in terms of layouts and graphics, that we wanted to make a new updated video guide for 2023 that shows you how to use these features. TradingView is a platform that's heavily focused on technical analysis, and in turn, it has a ton of technical indicators, drawing tools, different volume profiles, so on and so forth. And there's quite a bit that can be customized. So just wanted to create a tutorial showing you how to do this in the year 2023, and hopefully this video will be relevant for quite some time. So for the most part, all of TradingView's technical drawing tools and indicators can be accessed from the top left corner of the platform. Specifically, the drawing tool section will be shown on this toolbar on the left-hand side of your chart. It says vertical toolbar running across the chart. At the top, the first thing that you have, this isn't a drawing tool, but this is how your monitor displays your mouse, or how the platform displays your mouse on your charts. By default, you'll have this crosshair icon. You can customize these to be as a dot if you prefer. You can customize it to an arrow, so basically just the default Windows mouse. Or you can put it as an eraser, so if you have drawing tools and things like that, you can actually just click and highlight on the chart to erase them. So this is actually something good to know when it comes time to actually managing your drawing tools. This is a really easy way that you can just come in here and just click on every single drawing tool. Any annotations that you made, you can just get rid of them with a few clicks of this. So moving forward, the actual drawing tools of the platform are going to be found within this section. Now, when you hover over a specific drawing tool, you'll get a default option. As you can see for me, this is a trend line, but when I also hover over this, this shows all trend line related tools. If I click on this small right facing arrow, you can see it opens up another submenu. So not only do I just have trend lines, but I have rays, info lines, extended line, trend angles. You can see there's a bunch of different options here. In the popular ones also have shortcuts. So if you memorize these, rather than come down here every time and remember what the shortcut or having to click ray, you can just remember Alt T is a shortcut for ray. So if I click Alt T on my keyboard, you can see I automatically get a ray that I can start plotting. So whether you prefer to come into this line, you can save your drawing tools as favorites too. And you can see once you start creating favorites, they also get plotted up in a little menu up here too. So there's really quite a few options and ways to go about this. It really just comes down to your personal preference. So remember, you can either, one, click the arrow and access them from here, favorite them and access them in a menu that pops up over your chart, and you can move and drag it. So you can move this wherever you want and then just click the tools right from here. I personally like this way the best because if you use something often, all you have to do is hover over it or click. Or the third option is you can remember the shortcut for it. As an example, Alt H is horizontal line. If you press Alt H on your keyboard, that's what your crosshair turns into. And when you start plotting, it will plot a horizontal line. By the way, if you prefer to use something different than this eraser, which you can also favorite here, you could also, if you don't have this enabled, by the way, just highlight your drawing tool and then click delete on your keyboard. So again, if I click a trend line and I don't have this selected, see I just have my normal crosshair, I can click on it and then just click delete on my keyboard. So that's how you delete drawing tools besides this eraser. The other option of doing it this way is one, once you click on your drawing tool, you get this other little sub window that pops up. You have your templates here. So if you do use one of these drawing tools quite often and you like the same exact color scheme and font size and settings, you can for one apply it as a template. You can edit the colors in the lines here. But what I wanted to show you is you can also delete it here. So you just click on your indicator or your drawing tool and click the trash can icon in the top right. Or the final way of doing it is in the very top right of your chart. The fourth icon down opens the object tree or the data window. This basically shows you everything you have plotted on your chart. If there's indicators, they show in data windows. If you have drawing tools or indicators, they show up in the object tree. The object tree is just basically a quick glance at how you can see everything that you have on your chart. You can see in my example, I have extended lines. So I can come in here, I can lock it, I can turn on the visibility, I can right click it in access settings, but I wanted to show you, you can click this X and that will also remove it. So right there, you've just seen 4 different ways to basically add, modify, and manage your drawing tools on this platform. In very quick fashion, it just really comes down to personal preference. There's no right or wrong way to do any of it. It just really comes down to whatever jives with you and what is easiest for you. So just showing off a couple of these, we showed the trend line section. They have channels, so you have your parallel, regression, flat tops and bottoms in the disjointed channel. And then you have your pitchforks. All of these again can be favorited. Once you plot any of these, you can change all the different colors, the different width, thicknesses, style. You can change different coordinates. So if you know the coordinates on the platform, you can literally type it in and just manage it here. You can see, you can click the arrows and you can modify them that way too. So if you need to get really precise and you're not able to just by drawing, you can come in here and just click it. It'll move a quarter decimal point at a time. And then here, visibility. If you only want certain drawing tools to show on certain time frames. For example, let's say you use this pitchfork for a 1 minute chart, but you don't like using the same pitchfork on an hourly chart. You can disable hours and anything higher than that, and it will only display on your minute time frame. So if I change my chart type to an hour time frame, this will no longer display. Just to show you that, see if I click minutes and uncheck it, it's gone because I'm on a minute chart. So if I turn it back on, it starts to display. So if you follow that logic and uncheck or check or edit any of these settings here, just remember this shows the visibility of the indicator based on whatever you have checked off. So right now for my pitchfork, it will only show on time frames with 1 to 59 seconds or 1 minute to 59 minutes, basically anything under an hour. Moving forward now, here are Fibonacci and Gann tools. You can see in every drawing tool section, they are labeled. So if you're not sure what's what, here you can see all my section for Gann. Here are my different Gann boxes and squares. And then we have the other section here. These are all my Fibonacci, so I can put my Fib retracement lines. If you want to adjust the percentages or any of these lines, remember, you can either come up to this bar at the top and click on settings. You can come up here and right click it, or you can just right click the thing itself and go to settings. So with this one is a bit different because with the Fibonacci, it's based on percentages and different levels. So you can adjust the percentages and the levels just by enabling these check marks here. And you can see you can get the Fibonacci retracements for all of them. You can also customize the color if you'd like with each of these boxes. You can extend the lines. You can extend the line to the left and the right. Each of these drawing tools is going to be a little bit different from one another. You're going to see similarities in these sections where most of them have the same exact settings that can be added or customized as needed, but they can vary. Different ones have different settings, so don't expect this to look the settings menu, at least for these drawing tools, to be the same exact thing every time, but you're going to start seeing a common theme and it's going to start, a lot of them use the same. So you may want to familiarize yourself with some of these settings. Some of them, at least especially for the Fibonacci lines, are very specific just for fibs. But you'll see, you'll start to see a common theme among them the more you use these different drawing tools. And as you can see, I'm overloading my chart a little bit. There's no rhyme or reason why I'm plotting these, just showing off different ones. Again, they all have different styles. You can see this has even less settings, but again, nothing too different than we're used to. And once I have them plotted, you can all see them in the object tree. So if you have this and you've just gotten it too cluttered like mine is right now, and you want to just delete everything quickly, I like coming up to the object tree and just clicking these X's and getting rid of them one at a time through this option in the top right. So moving forward, we've covered the Gann and Fibonacci tools. Let's move on to patterns. We have normal patterns, we have Elliott waves, and we have cycles. So not too much different. Obviously a different category of indicators, but in terms of how the layout is and how it's displayed, same thing. We go ahead and plot our different indicators, whatever the case is. We can access settings. You see there's even less here. You don't really have much to customize here. It just is what it is. You plot your 5 different points, and then you can edit it as needed. Change the coordinates, of course, in the visibility. But for this one, you can see there's not too much customization. We have head and shoulder patterns, Elliott wave impulse, ABC, ABCDE. So feel free to really come in here and explore these different sections. You can see you can really get quite creative with this platform, and it makes drawing tools so easy to use. Moving on from this section here, these are where we start to get into more customization and more annotations of your chart. And what I mean by that is this is maybe the section that you'll use for yourself to make notes or little marks on your platform. So for example, if you wanted to mark an arrow, let's say you made an entry trade here, you can come in here and use these arrows, and there's really no set way to use these. Like I mentioned, this is where the personalization comes into the platform. Every user is going to use this section differently, or possibly not even at all, but you can really come in here and customize it as you like. I use this as an example to show like an entry for a long, for example. There are settings on the platform that actually do that itself, so you really may not use it for that purpose. But again, I just wanted to show an example of what some of these things do in this section. You can create arcs, you can create curves. The uses, it really depends on the beholder. There's a brush, you can make little lines and little drawings. You can write to yourself if you need to make a note. There's really an endless amount of possibilities you can do with this section. You can see they all, as always, show up in the object window, so I can just come in here, and rather than go ahead and click the eraser on every single one or highlight everyone individually, you can just come in here and efficiently delete everything. So again, that was this section here. These are your brushes, arrows, shapes. Moving on, this is text. This has a little bit more practical use, of course. Rather than sitting there with a pencil and drawing everything in, you could actually create a text box. So you can say, I made a trade here. It really doesn't matter. But the point of this video is to show you these capabilities. What you type in here, that's up to you as a beholder and what you need out of this feature, but just showing you what you can do. You can change the font, you can change the color, you can change the size, you can make it bold, you can italicize it, you can type in whatever you want here. You can change a background. Right now it's just white, so it matches the background on my chart, but I can make it a black background with green text. That way I can see it a little bit better. You can put a border around it. Again, highlighting it, and then you can do a text wrap, which if it were to cut off of the actual square or whatever I drew instead, this would just basically wrap it around. It's a similar function to Excel has, that they have a wrap. It just wraps the text so it doesn't get cut off. Visibility, same thing like we've seen before. We can customize this to be used on certain time frames if we need to. Moving forward, we have anchor text. This is basically you anchor it to a point. So rather than have a free floating text box that you accidentally may drag around, this is plotted to a specific point and stays anchored at that point. You can make notes. Same thing with an anchor notes, call outs, comments, price tables, price notes, flags, signpost. You can actually put images. So if you want, you can actually put a JPEG or a PNG and put an actual image on your chart. We have seen users do this before, and whether they use it for references or they want to put a logo on their chart and show their friends, there's really so many ways to go about it. You can put X or Twitter. You can integrate Twitter with this, so if you want to put a link to a tweet for some reason, you could do that. And then you can put ideas, which this is a TradingView idea. So one good thing about TradingView, like we mentioned, it's almost like the social media of trading. So if you post a link to another user and you wanted to give them your idea, you could share this entire chart. And if you have some sort of trade idea or something you want to share to a friend, you could have that idea linked. So when you share your workspace to your friend, they have the link to that idea, and they could use that for context to know what this chart is about. This really gets heavy into customization and the social aspect of TradingView. So this is really dependent on whether you use those features of this platform or not, but it is relevant to this video, so we figured we would show it. And then this is emojis, pretty self-explanatory. Don't need to focus much on this section. If you want to plot a unicorn on your chart or an animal and a mouse, you could do that. So that is there. It's under emojis. Use it as you need to. A few more practical things we could look at. We have measure. This is basically a ruler that you can use to calculate the distance between 2 points. So if I click on one point and then click on another, it's basically showing you it's ironically 111 bars away. This was a 19-hour and 32-minute time frame that I've just extended. It's showing you how much volume was done at this time, the change between the 2 points. So this is a cool feature if you need to calculate something within these parameters. That's a ruler icon. This magnifying glass, you can magnify a chunk of data and zoom in on it and continue to do that to get really precise in a deep look into this section of data. Otherwise, you'll have to use your mouse wheel on the chart or use and drag these different X and Y axes to really pinpoint the data. So this is good if you don't want to sit here and modify and scrunch and try and use your mouse wheel to get in on this data. You just use this magnifying glass, draw a little square around the chunk of data you want to look at, and it'll, as you can see, magnify in that section. The few last things we'll show off here, these are magnets. So if you, as you can see here, use different things, whether they be like an indicator or a trend line that you want plotted onto a precise point, this will angle it to the open or the close, the high, the low of any recent candle. So for example, if I have this on and I use trend line, you can see if you notice my crosshair, it's moving automatically for me based on the open high or lows close of a bar. I'm not I mean, I am moving my mouse around, but it's not making those precise anchored snap points where I want them to. So again, this is snapping your drawing tools to a specific point. Now this one is called weak magnet, so the pulling of the crosshair is not too strong. As you can see, it doesn't really snap on to a candle until I get really close to it. This one strong, it starts that behavior way earlier. So you can see I'm all the way down here, and because my vertical crosshair is lining up with this section of data, it's the magnet, quote unquote, is so strong that it's pulling all the way up to this point of data. So if you need to get very precise, you need to really play with this section. I don't know which one would be better for you based on your situation. I find it easier to use a strong magnet because it's, as it implies, it's stronger and it's a little snappier. But when you are trying to get very specific and there's so many candles, it can be a little bit hard if you're very far away and you see it just snaps to the data from so far out that you may want to start with a weak magnet. That way you can get a little bit closer, and then if you need to, you can fine tune it with the strong magnet. These sections down here, everything below the magnet actually is just more of ease of use and different ways you can modify everything. And what I mean by that, you can see here is a drawing mode. So with this basically keeps it an ease of access for drawing tools. So if I'm sitting here and drawing lines, I don't want to have to come up here and every time I'm done drawing a line, come up to trend lines. Well, what this section does is it keeps your trend line enabled and your crosshair is always active as a trend line. So for one, it's turns off the accidental capability of accidentally just clicking on your chart and placing an order because it stays in drawing mode. And not only that, but it also keeps it so you don't have to waste your time and move your mouse or click your favorite or click the shortcut every single time you want to go to the trend tool. You see, it just keeps it that way and it stays on. On that point, the next option is lock all drawing tools. This basically just makes it so no matter what I do, I can't really accidentally move this around or delete it. I accidentally unlocked it. Let me relock it. So now I can't go ahead and lock this around. You see, when I drag it, it's not dragging the drawing tool around. It's dragging my chart around. So this is probably what you'll need to do once you are done with your drawing tools and you're ready to start trading, or you're done for the day, whatever the case is, and you don't want to accidentally erase your progress. You probably want to click on this lock tool, and that'll make it so all your drawing tools are locked into place, and it makes it a lot more difficult to accidentally modify it. This next setting, you have a few different options here. The one by default is it just hides all drawings. So if you're about to trade and for whatever reason your drawings are too distracting or you need a clean chart, you can click on that. There's hide indicators, there's hide positions and orders, and there's hide all. So these are pretty straightforward and self-explanatory as to what they do. They do exactly what the functionality says. If you want to get rid of everything, you choose hide all. Otherwise, you can choose one of these three specific options. And the two last things we'll show you are layout functionality. And what this is if you have multiple layouts or you have multiple tabs, this section, when you draw it, it will sync with all your different charts. So if I have three MES Z 2023 charts plotted and I have this section turned on, it will sync my layouts. And if I have this, it'll put all my drawing tools globally on everything on this symbol on the platform. So this may be for users that use or have charts with multiple time frame analysis. They may have one tab with 1 minute open, one with 5 minute, one with 6 minutes, whatever the case is. And rather than having them go in every time and re-add a drawing tool, this just does it all at once, just for the whole symbol. It plots it at the same points, but since it's synced, you don't have to go in there on each different time frame and replot them. The only other thing I'd show is this trash can icon. One of the first things we showed in this video was how to delete and erase these drawing tools. I didn't show this one, but this is the last section you can do it in. This trash can is focused on any specific indicators or drawing tools you have. So if you want to get rid of them, you can click on this trash can icon, choose a specific one, and it deletes everything. I just had mine all hidden, so you couldn't even see that I had drawing tools still. If you notice, it said there was 9 drawings available. You can always check in the object manager, regardless of what is visible on your chart or not. They do show in that object manager, and they do show in this section here. So remember, if something was accidentally hidden and you didn't realize it, check your object manager and check there and check the visibility, or you can delete it from there too. That about wraps it up for drawing tools on this platform. As you can see, there's a lot packed in there. All this really comes down to personal customization and personal preference. Some users may use drawing tools more than others. Some may never use them at all. Some may use them at all times. It really depends on the user, but that's one of the beauty of this platform, is that it has so much technical analysis features packed into it, and that's why we wanted to make this video, to highlight these features and really show you how to get in there and utilize the full potential of them and make sure you're not missing any specific settings or things that can be configured with them. So we hope you found this video helpful. If you did, or you have any questions, comments, concerns, please post them in the comment section down below, or you can visit our community forum. It's community.optimusfutures.com. Feel free to create an account, or you can reach out and we can send you an invite link to our forum, where you can join, participate, ask questions, and join the Optimus community. So again, we hope you found this video helpful. We hope you found the updated guide helpful, and we hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.